Sometimes the Academy gets it right, but sometimes it really doesn't. Hey, it's Michael, aka Oscar Man. I want to share with you some years where I would have voted for another nominee. I want to discuss performances that aren't the usual suspects, so you won't see any of these mentioned here. But I know you will bring them up in the comments. One year where any of the other four nominees would have been better was 1969, when the cowboy himself finally received recognition from his peers. Yes, I am aware that True Grit was critically acclaimed and a box office hit. Many stated that John Wayne, as Rooster Cogburn, gave one of his best performances. But is that really saying a whole lot? Worthy of a nomination? Okay, fine. But aside from sentimentality, did the Academy truly believe that Wayne's performance was better than these four nominees? Of course, everyone knew Wayne would win the Oscar. That was hardly a surprise. It was then or never. Jon Voight was new to films, and Dustin Hoffman was at the beginning of his career. But Richard Burton was on his sixth nomination without a win, and Peter O'Toole was on nomination number four. Who would I have voted for instead of Wayne? I've said this before. Any of the others. But if I had to choose, it would be this performance.
But you mean you're picking up trade on the street like that? That's nowhere. I mean, you gotta get yourself some kind of management.
I think you put your finger on it.
You know what you need? You need my friend O'Daniel. He operates the biggest stable in town. In fact, in the whole goddamn metropolitan area. It's stupid a stud like you paying. I mean, you don't want to be stupid. I mean, I understand. The dame starts crying. I cut my heart out for her.
Jane Fonda is an actress who has tackled a variety of characters in both comedic and dramatic films. She deservedly won her first Best Actress Oscar for 1971's Klute. The Academy got that one right. But I don't agree with her second win for 1978's Coming Home. The film's best performance belongs to Jon Voight, who rightfully won Best Actor. As for Fonda, she's fine, but she was up against two veterans, each giving one of their finest performances. Already a three-time winner, Ingrid Bergman was nominated for her final film, Autumn Sonata, in which she was directed by famed filmmaker Ingmar Bergman. Then you have Geraldine Page on her sixth nomination for her role in Woody Allen's Interiors. Now, while I'm torn between these two, I think I would have wanted to spread the wealth a little bit. And so while I'm not handing Ingrid Bergman a fourth Oscar, I would feel okay voting for this performance, even though she was only on screen for 20 minutes.
Become involved?
Well, what are you saying? You want to remarry? Is that it?
I'm not discussing that.
Have you met someone?
No.
Oh, you're lying. Of course you've met someone. Why don't you be honest about it?
Yes, I have, but you're going to make much too much
Oh,
out
never
of it.
mind. Just don't talk anymore about it. I don't want to hear anymore.
I talked with your doctor. He feels you can handle this.
You talked to Dr. LaBelle about this behind my back?
Not behind your back, discreetly.
You discussed this with Dr. LaBelle. Behind my back. It's so humiliating.
Returning to the aforementioned theme that the other four nominees were more deserving than the winner, I feel that 1999's Best Supporting Actor, Michael Caine, fits the bill. Caine had previously won in the category for 1986's Hannah and Her Sisters, and I'm good with that win. As for his performance in The Cider House Rules, Michael Caine was perfectly okay. You don't need me to tell you that Caine's co-nominees were more deserving. He said so himself in his very gracious acceptance speech.
And if ever there was a category where the Oscar goes to someone without there being a winner, it's this one, because I do not feel like being the winner.
Casting my ballot, I probably would have not voted for Jude Law, even though the talented Mr. Ripley remains among his stronger performances. The success of The Sixth Sense rested mostly on Haley Joel Osment's shoulders, and he delivered. Michael Clark Duncan was the heart of The Green Mile. But I think Magnolia showcased Tom Cruise in a manner in which he had previously not been seen by audiences, and that year he would have gotten my vote for giving one of his best performances as the larger-than-life Frank Mackey.
I know, because I was there, Earl. You didn't like illness, though, do you? was there. She waited for your call. For you to come.
There is a list of actors who won Oscars for recreating roles they originated on the Broadway stage. One such winner was Josephine Hull, who performed her trademark befuddled character of Vita Louise in 1950's Harvey, delivering both the play and film with a good amount of its funnier moments. I have no problem with Hull's nomination, and while I know that many of you would have voted for either her or this perennial nominee for the year's Best Picture winner All About Eve, I would have marked a gigantic X next to the box with Hope Emerson's name on it. The 6'2", 230-pound actress appeared in dozens of film, stage, and television productions, often cast as a villain because of her imposing structure, though she also excelled in comedic roles. But her greatest success came with Caged. As the sadistic prison matron Evelyn Harper, Hope Emerson's performance was classified as the standard model for women's prison pictures. Some will say this was a stock-and-trade villain with no redeeming qualities. Now, I've watched Cage a lot, and Emerson scares me every time.
Home sweet home. Just like the big cage in the zoo, only you clean it up instead of the keeper. Bucket and brush is in the corner closet.
Mrs. Benton said I was going to work in the laundry.
I'm the boss here. Start scrubbing.
But Mrs. Benton told me... Where do I begin, Miss Harper?
Now you're getting hip.
Sidney Poitier's win as Best Actor for 1963's Lilies of the Field is important when discussing both film and Academy history. As the first African-American actor to win an Oscar for a leading role, Poitier broke through barriers by becoming not only a respected actor, but also a box office star. I thought Lilies of the Field was a good film with a nice story, but I believe Poitier should have won for performances he was overlooked for as a nominee, including To Sir with Love and In the Heat of the Night. Poitier was certainly more worthy of the award than fellow nominees Albert Finney, Richard Harris, and Rex Harrison. But in HUD, I think Paul Newman offered a portrayal that was not only among his finest, but should have been the Academy's choice for Best Actor that year.
Claiming I'm the first guy that ever stuck his foot in your door? First one ever got rough, huh? Well, I'm sorry. That ain't my style. I don't usually get rough with my women. Generally don't have to.
You're rough on everybody.
So they tell me.
Okay, I will include one winner who you mention a lot, and that's Gwyneth Paltrow, 1998's Best Actress for Shakespeare in Love. Do I hate this performance? No. Were there external factors notoriously involved in pushing Paltrow to the winner's circle? Yes, but I'll leave that matter for another discussion. Would she have gotten my vote for Best Actress? No, though I'm okay with her nomination. I've gone back and forth on the merits of Cate Blanchett in Elizabeth and Fernanda Montenegro in Central Station. One performance perhaps towered over the others, while the second one was the highlight of a film which moved me more. Opinions were divided by moviegoers as well. Glenn Close said that Paltrow winning over Montenegro did not, quote, make sense.
I remember the year Gwyneth Paltrow won over that incredible actress who was in Central Station. I thought, what? It's like, it doesn't make sense.
In response to that, Montenegro expressed gratitude for Close's support, but said the Oscar should have gone to Blanchett. Here is who my winner would have been.
No dia que você quiser lembrar de mim, dá uma olhada no retratinho que a gente tirou junto. Eu digo isso porque tenho medo que dia você também me esqueça. Tenho saudade do meu pai. Tenho saudade de tudo. Dora.
Troy Kotsur became the first male hearing-impaired actor to win an Oscar, the first female being Marlee Matlin. Before he appeared in 2021's Best Picture winner Coda, Kotzer's career had primarily existed on the stage, with a handful of appearances in film and television roles. The producers of Coda wanted to cast hearing actors in the film, but Marlee Matlin, the first actor cast, threatened to drop out unless other hearing-impaired actors were considered. I liked the story of Coda and thought the film was worthy of the accolades it received. As for Troy Kotzer, the nomination should have been the award. In fact, for me, his finest moment took place not in the film itself, but during the ceremony, when Oscar winner Yoon Jung-woon's moving announcement of his win took place.
The Oscar goes to... no, not Minari. Troy Kotsur.
As for Best Supporting Actor, I would have chosen the same performance that I voted for at that year's SAG Awards.
I did, sir. My mother was a florist, so I made them to look like the ones in our garden.
Oh, well, do pardon me.
It's really just for wine drips.
Oh, you got that, boys? Only for the drip.
I like Nicole Kidman. Hell, I even bought her as Lucy. As for her winning performance in 2002's The Hours, well, I believe everyone knows I would have voted differently. It's not just because Kidman's screen time was brief, and it's also not because I thought her co-stars were more worthy of the honor. I do know that a lot of you would have chosen Julianne Moore in Far From Heaven. Maybe I need to watch that film again because at the time, I didn't share the same enthusiasm for her performance. And truth be told, I thought Dennis Quaid was Oscar worthy and robbed of a nomination. Anyway, as for Best Actress of 2002, I think the Academy made a mistake by not choosing this nominee.
She made a scandal and a star.
And Sophie Tucker, oh shit, I know, to see her name get filled below. Roxy Hart.
I have to go all the way back to the very first winner of Best Supporting Actress, Gail Sondergaard. In the 1936 epic drama Anthony Adverse, Sondergaard did what she could as the villainous Faith in this ponderous, overblown film. Anthony Adverse was a big-budget box office success, and perhaps the fledgling Academy thought villains in supporting roles were a good way to initiate the category. However, if my theory is correct, they chose the wrong villain, because they had a doozy of one in another nominee, who, as the lying evil Mary Tilford in these three, nearly destroyed the lives of several adults. You think Patty McCormack was the first bad seed? If you haven't watched these three, check it out. And skip the watered-down remake 1961's The Children's Hour. Nominated at the age of 13, Benita Granville should have become at the time the youngest Oscar winner.
But they would have punished me more and more and more. I guess they knew about how I couldn't help hearing about that awful night that...
What awful night?
Well, Dr. Carden was in Miss Dobie's room late, and other times when things happened too, but I can't say them out loud, Grandma. I got to whisper.
Nonsense. Why must you whisper?
But I got to, because it's bad. Oh, it was late at night, and Miss Dobie's room is right next to ours.
Cuba Gooding Jr.'s energetic performance in Jerry Maguire was fun to watch. His over-the-top acceptance speech for Best Supporting Actor of 1996 was something else. The fact that Gooding Jr. stole many of the film's best moments was to his credit. He had an oft-imitated catchphrase,
Show me the money.
and his scene-stealing performance against the likes of Tom Cruise was impressive. Cuba Gooding Jr. was a popular winner, embraced by his peers and the movie-going public. But would I have been caught up in the swell of undeniable support for the actor that year, when there was an actor making his film debut in a performance that was considered among the greatest, not only that year, but in recent memory. Well, it's not as though the Academy was against honoring a screen newcomer. While Cuba Gooding Jr. sailed to his Oscar win, my vote for Best Supporting Actor would have been for this nominee.
Hell no! Jesus Christ, where'd they find you? Ain't you been listening to me? Aaron don't have the guts to do nothing. It was me, boy. It was me.
It was you.
Yes, it was.
It was you.
He come crying to me like always. Stuttering and whining. I can't take it no more, Roy. You gotta help me, please, Roy. I said, shut your mouth, you little girl. Grow up, be a man, take care of yourself.
Be a man.
You know what I'm saying?
There are a few more years where I think the Academy should have voted differently. Ginger Rogers won Best Actress of 1940 for Kitty Foyle, a film which was considered daring for its time. Rogers stepped away from her roles as Fred Astaire's dancing partner to star in this popular drama. But she won instead of Joan Fontaine in Rebecca and Katharine Hepburn in The Philadelphia Story. I would have been fine with either of these two, perhaps tipping the scales for Fontaine. And the following year, Joan Fontaine got her Oops, We Need to Make It Up to You Oscar for Best Actress in 1941's Suspicion, which she didn't deserve. That one should have gone to Barbara Stanwyck in Ball of Fire. Earlier in the video, I mentioned Sidney Poitier. I think he would have been a much better choice for Best Actor in 1958's The Defiant Ones than David Niven's win for Separate Tables. Hell, even nominated Tony Curtis was good. And while I feel that Mahershala Ali earned his second Best Supporting Actor for 2018's Green Book, I just didn't understand why he won his first one 2 years prior for Moonlight. My vote would have gone to Lucas Hedges, who I think gave the best performance in Manchester by the Sea. There's one more winner I will dispute, but before I do, please know that I appreciate your participation. There is so much to watch on YouTube, and I am grateful for the time you have spent watching this and my other videos on the Oscars. When the video concludes with a final word from an Oscar winner, please click on the like button, even if you disagree with my choices, because after all, I'm not the final word on the Oscars. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, join our great community for a new video each week and daily polls, where your vote definitely counts. Best Supporting Actress is my favorite Oscar category, and there are several winning performances that I have bones to pick with the Academy. So many choices, but sorry, Jessica, it's your first Oscar for 1982's Tootsie. She's very okay in the movie. Maybe her character was underwritten, but I just can't find anything special about her performance, or even one particular scene where I said, that's why she won. Look at who was nominated. Glenn Close making her screen debut in The World According to Garp. Lang's co-star in Tootsie, Terry Garr, in one of her best roles and far more deserving. Legendary Kim Stanley, Lang's other co-star, in Frances. Stanley didn't work in many films, but when she did a movie, she was consistent with her excellence. And we can't forget Leslie Ann Warren, absolutely hysterical in Victor Victoria. If it had just been these four, I would have called the year a success. But I think Jessica Lange coasted on charm and likability, but gave a performance that wasn't even close to an Oscar win. Yes, I understand that Lange likely won because she wasn't going to prevail in Best Actress for Frances, but still, had the Academy agreed with me instead and voted for the best performance, future years of Oscar disappointments could have been avoided.
He was dying. I wanted a child. Seemed like a good way to have one without the bother of a husband hanging around who had legal rights to my body. So one night when I was on duty and the wounded and maimed were all asleep, I went to him. He was asleep, but his erection was there as always. I removed my undergarments and climbed on top of him. He woke up then, said the only word other than his name that I ever heard him utter. He said, good.
In addition to sharing your thoughts on the performances mentioned in this video, please include the years where you think the Academy got it wrong, and it would be great if you mentioned a few that aren't always brought up. Until we meet again, I'll leave you with this.
So really, I'm basically up here, guys, to represent you as what I hope you will all be, a survivor. I've got to hurry up or Dick, I wasn't here last time, so give me a bit with my speech the last time I won, so give me a bit extra time, okay?